I am with my great-grandma, Grandma Ruth, and I'm going to be interviewing her today about her life back in the 20th century and everything involving that. I have some questions about World War II. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Number one is, what was your life like during World War II?
There's a lot of things we couldn't do anymore. Like if you needed gasoline for your car, you had to go on a certain day. Everybody had certain days that they could go and get gasoline, and you couldn't. So you wanted to be sure you got it on that day, because if not, you waited a while. And I still remember one of my uncles was driving, and he said realized that he needed gas, so he had a friend. They opened the garage door. We snuck in. Seems a little silly now, but that's what we had to do. And all of us had little booklets, and that you could get and shoes. But then if you got that pair of shoes, you had to wait for the time that it came around again, and all that. Just about everything they called it rationing.
Oh, okay.
And it was, you adjusted to it after a while, but it seemed so strange at first that you couldn't just go out and buy a pair of shoes.
I have 3 more questions.
Yeah.
What age did you start working?
Well, I went from high school right into nurses training.
Okay.
And the nurses training was 3 years, so it would be after that that
Oh.
I started actually working, although we worked pretty hard while we were taking training.
So, did you have any family members or siblings in World War II?
Yeah. My brother went in. He went in, just a lowly went in. And he came out after the war was over. He did not like it, went back in, and when he died, he was a major. So.
How was your family affected after the war?
Well, like I said, my brother went in, went back in, and stayed in it for the rest of his life. So that was something. Before that, he hadn't thought about doing that, but he liked the Army.
That's good.
So he went in.
So things are way different for females now than they were.
Well, that was the first when that started, that the men were gone and the women took over, and they did jobs that before that they thought they couldn't do.
Yeah.
People thought they couldn't do, and they had names like Rosie the Riveter and some of that, but they did really well. And
I heard they did better. Like some of them were better at the jobs than the men.
Well, some of them, because like when they were doing airplanes, and there was parts that they needed to get into that were very small, then the younger girls that were slim could get in there that boys couldn't have done.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were pretty good there.
So, pop culture, is it kind of like it is now, but in a different way?
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was kind of rock and roll sort of thing.
Yeah.
And in which we hadn't really gotten into that kind of dancing. There were some places like in New York City and all that they had they drank and they danced these wild dances and stuff, but that wasn't particularly all the way around the place.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't call it rock and roll back then.
No, they didn't. They didn't call it rock and roll, but that's what it was. And of course, movies changed, because in 1939, it was the first time they had color. And that was Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
Of course, everybody had to go to that, because
Yeah.
that was so different, they had color. And of course, they never went back after they started doing that.
Who was your favorite celebrity actor?
Cary Grant.
Cary Grant?
He stayed my favorite all the way through.
Did you think he was really cute?
Hmm?
Did you think he was really cute?
Yes, he was. Real
Yeah.
cute. All the girls thought he was real cute.
Oh.
He was from England
Oh.
and came over here to make movies and never went back to England, so we kept him here.
Did you wish you could ever meet him?
Oh yes, I would have liked to. I almost met Frank Sinatra one time.
Really?
I was in New York City and staying with one of my friends who was living there. She was my best friend in high school and way back, and way on. And so she was down there, and so I went in to be with her for a couple of days. We were walking down the street, just walking, looking in the windows and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, around a corner came this big crowd of people. And we had to turn and go the other way because they would have run over us. They were just pushing there. And so then we came, so we were right in the front of the group, came around a corner, and here was Frank Sinatra getting out the back door of the place where he'd been. So we were disgusted because we liked Bing Crosby better.
Did you ever meet any, like, huge movie stars that you admired?
No,
No,
no.
but you got really close to Frank Sinatra. Other than the movies, what else did you like to do?
Ice skate.
Ice skate?
Hmm. We didn't have any rinks we could go to, but there were places where the stone quarry, and they had dug all the stones out in this one area, and then it would fill up, and it came just as nice and smooth as if you were in an indoor rink, place that, just, so a lot of us did ice skating. They thought that was a big thing.
What would happen if your parents did not like the guy you were dating? Would you get in very big trouble?
Well, they'd tell me I couldn't see him anymore. I only remember that happening once. And they didn't know him, and so they said until they could find out more about him, I was not to see him. Yeah, they were strict in those days. But it helps. Girls didn't seem to get in trouble very much.
Now it's very different.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you so
You sure you
much.
don't have any more questions?
Sure, but I think that's enough. But that was very interesting, so thank you.
It was an interesting period
Yeah.
of time.
Really
I
enjoyed
feel
it.
like a celebrity.